Jack Reistenberg. Did I get that right?
Right.
All right, good. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming in. We
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
inviting
this.
me,
Yeah, and he's going to speak with us about his time in the service. Also, we have with us today Odelia Reistenberg, and she's sitting over there, and she's going to kind of be the director behind the scenes and calling shots and things like that. We might ask her a question or two later on, so I just thought I did identify her. Okay, well, thanks, Jack. I'll sneak around here and we'll get going. I always just like to get a little bit of an idea of what a person was doing before they entered the military. Can you just give us a little bit of an overview?
What I was doing before that went into service?
Yeah. Is our ambient lighting
I helped.
solid enough? I can just turn on the overhead. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
helped my dad on the farm
Okay.
work.
And you said that you were born here in Perham.
Right.
So.
Graduated from high school and so forth.
Okay. Yeah. Where was the original farm, or?
It's like 6 miles west of Perham here.
Okay.
My son lives on the farm now.
He does?
Yeah.
That's
He's
cool.
taken over.
That's cool. In fact, when I talked to, was Teresa your daughter?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when I talked to her, I think she said you still help with some of the farming at times and stuff,
I
right?
do, yeah, just to have something to do. I
Yeah.
guess, whatever, yeah. It works
Yeah.
out pretty good.
Well, that's neat. That's cool. I like that. So, okay, so you were working on the farm with your father.
Mm-hmm.
Were you drafted? Did you
Yeah,
volunteer?
we're drafted, yeah, I was drafted.
Well, how old were you when you were drafted then?
23, I guess.
Okay. And did you know to expect that coming?
I guess, yeah, they were, you know, the draft was going and they were, the war was on in Korea and they needed more troops there, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Sure. Okay. Did you get any kind of a choice as to what branch you wanted to go into or anything?
They probably did, but I just went with the flow, I guess, went with the Army, I guess. That's what they wanted most people for, I guess.
Sure. Okay. And when you got the draft notice, can you tell me a little? Do you remember anything about what went through your mind, or?
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm going to be leaving the country, leaving the area anyway. So.
Had you ever been away from the area at all?
Not too much, no. No, not really.
Okay. Do you remember anything like on your parents' part as far as their reaction or thoughts when you got the letter? Or?
Well, they weren't too happy about it, I guess. And the dad was kind of in the mentality of the First World War, where you know, everybody got. I mean, a large group of people got killed. You know, when they charged up well, they did here too, but not that. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. But so had your father been in World War I? No, but just knew of it, and remembered about it, and
reading about it and all
sure.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So between getting your draft notice and what was the first step after that? Let's put it that way. Did you go for a physical?
Yeah, right. Physically, yeah.
And where was that at?
Down at Minneapolis.
Okay.
Federal building or something like that.
Okay. All right. And you evidently passed it, because
You're right. No problem, I guess.
well, probably working on a farm, you were,
You're right.
absolutely very conditioned and stuff like that too. So.
And when you were in basic, the guys from the cities, you know, they had kind of a hard time with some of this physical exercise, but the farm boys, well, they were used to that. It's regular.
Exactly.
That's the way it worked, I guess.
Yeah. So, I've always kind of wondered, was there ever any kind of like cliques or grouping of city boys here and rural people here at all?
Kind of, I suppose, yeah.
In the basic especially, I was
Yeah,
wondering.
and then the Afro-Americans stuck together, which is normal, I guess, and because they want to be with their kind, you know, and so forth. And
Now, so within your group of rural people that the physical stuff was a little bit easier for, do you ever remember any camaraderie around that, or any kind of like, oh, well, they think they're hot city slickers, but look at us, we can,
well, kind of like, yeah,
I thought so.
they couldn't. They were all tired out in nature. Well, we were too, kind of, because it was, pretty strenuous.
Yeah,
Work there.
that's for sure. That's for sure. From taking your physical, how long do you think it was before you actually were inducted, or you know?
Boy, probably, I can't remember, 30 days probably, something like that.
Not long anyway.
No.
Now, did you leave from Perham here then?
Right.
Uh-huh.
The bus down to Minneapolis.
Were your parents there to see you off at the bus?
Well, probably, yeah, I guess so.
You don't remember any great scene being made or
No,
anything like
no,
that?
They
No.
took it in stride, I guess.
Well, Reistenberg being a good Swedish name, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you know.
Germanic, correct?
Yeah, right.
So was it more of an orientation of kind of that a little bit harder, you know, just not showing emotion type
Well,
thing, or no?
I don't really, I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
They all did, I guess. Something
Yeah,
like that.
I guess that's pretty, I guess I'm stereotyping there, but I've heard
Yeah.
a number of people just say, you know, well, quote unquote, excuse me, but you know, quote unquote, well, the old man just said, okay, well, don't, you know, have a good, you know, whatever, you know, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah,
you know,
right, okay.
barely got a handshake or something,
Yeah.
you know, so, yeah, okay. When you headed on the bus down to Minneapolis, was this just a regular bus, or was this,
It was I believe it was all troops on there.
that's what I wondered.
Guys going down for the physical.
Okay, sure.
Seems like it.
Right.
A lot of them left from Perm, and they picked them up down the road farther, I can't remember where.
Okay. And now you did this to go get your physical. Was that didn't you came back
Oh, we
after?
come back after that,
Mhm. Yeah. So then when you were actually leaving, it was again by bus like this?
Yeah, right.
Okay. What did you think when your foot hit the pavement at the camp where you arrived? I bet, or didn't you have any time to do any thinking? Maybe.
Camp Roberts, California. It was great because it was 20 below here. When we got out there, it was like 65 above, and it was like, oh man, this is wonderful, you know. And orange trees hanging from the trees, you know, and
Yeah.
so.
Big difference. Yeah.
Then they had the guy, the sergeant comes out, he was a Samoan from Samoa, and he was really tough looking, and it really kind of scared you. All right, you gotta get in your line.
Yeah.
They didn't have no real gentle guy there for that. When he met you at the camp, you know, it was a little different there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kinda-
I know you. I've been in Hawaii a number of times. I know what you mean by Samoan can be.
Yeah,
It
he was
can be a
big
bit-
husky guy, and he had kind of a skull on his face. And
Can be very intimidating.
Yeah, right.
Did you know anybody else on the bus?
Not from here, but you get to know him after a while, you know.
Right. By the time you got there, you
Yeah.
probably had.
There's one fellow from Sleepy, I met him farther down the line, and he and I went through the whole thing, all the way to Korea, every place he was there. When we got out, he was there too, so that was kind of unusual, the same guy all the way through.
That's very unusual. Wow. Do you still keep in touch?
Yeah, once in a while.
That's neat. That's neat. What was his name?
Sellner, Lloyd Sellner.
Okay.
He lives in Minneapolis someplace.
Okay. Yeah, that's neat that you
Yeah.
still keep
He was
in
up here
touch
not
a
too
little.
long ago. He comes up here once in a while, fishing and stuff.
Might be interesting if he was ever up here sometime to have him call the museum ahead of time and say he's going to be up here and see if we could get him scheduled in, because that would be kind of interesting to interview him
Oh, sure.
also.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when the two of you had gone through together like that.
He would be
you know.
great. He's a good talker.
Yeah.
Better than I am.
Yeah. Well, next time you talk to him, give him the number of the museum and you
Okay.
know, just tell him, try and give us a little notice that he's going to be up here at a certain time, and we'll
Yeah.
do our best to get him scheduled in.
Sure,
So,
that'd be great.
yeah, yeah. What was your first day like, if you recall that type of thing in boot camp? I mean,
I suppose they had to get all your clothing and all that stuff lined up and everything, and I really don't remember too much about it, but
you knew it wasn't Kansas anymore, though.
no. Kansas, yeah.
Well, but I mean, like
No.
the Wizard of Oz. But I mean, just
Oh, yeah, right.
life had changed. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. And do you feel the same as many do about boot camp, as far as, you know, how do you feel about like the food and how severe or not severe it was?
I
Or,
thought the food was not too bad at all, really.
good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And did you have any particular snarls or problems in going through basic, or?
No, not really, no.
Okay. You weren't one of them that felt you had to prove yourself by trying to be a problem and have to do 800 more push-ups or something
No,
like that?
No.
Okay. Where to after then? What, did you get to come back home after boot?
After boot camp, 30 days at home. And then we went to Breckenridge, California. That's where you ship out. That's near that's right in San Francisco.
Okay.
We went out on the ship. 2 weeks to get to Japan. 15 days, 14 days. And then we landed in Japan.
Yeah, give us a little bit of an overview, kind of like that, and then maybe we'll go back in and flush in some details.
Okay. Yeah, Japan, that's a little different, you know. We never saw these Orientals before, and they're all a little different, you know. They're always bowing to us. Every time they see us, they're bowing to us. Evidently, because we were the victors on the Second World War, evidently. You know,
Well, I think that's kind of a custom in
well, maybe
general
that's their custom.
anyway,
I thought
too.
they were bowing
but
to us because we
it
overtook them.
could
I
well
don't
have
know.
been, but yeah. Any Orientals I've met or known often just it's just kind of their
Yeah,
way, you know.
I think that's probably it. Okay,
but,
okay, that's where we're gonna be. We were in Camp Drake, Japan for, I don't know, 10 days, and then they shipped us down to southern part of Japan where they had a chemical, biological, radiological school, kind of the atomic stuff, you know. And we were there about 3 weeks. Then they shipped us over to Korea, all by boat. Over and landed in Busan, that's the southernmost harbor of Korea.
Okay.
And there by chance I met a guy from Perm there, Joe Washi was there. He was a cadre there, you know, getting the troops moving around and stuff, and he was working there.
And you had known him from Purim?
Oh yeah, I just lived a little ways up here.
Wow.
That was kind of different anyway, that was kind of good.
Talk about small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was kind of good, actually.
Yeah, it
Here
was
you
good
are,
to see him, yeah.
halfway across the globe, and
Yeah, you see somebody from well, he lived about 3 miles from us. So.
wow. Now, is he still living or in the area or
Oh yeah,
anything?
I think he is, I know he is, yeah.
Well, that'd be
I haven't
cool.
seen him for a long time either, but
That what was his name again?
Joe Washi.
Joe W-A-S-C-H-E.
S-C-H-E.
Okay. If you run into him, encourage him to call into. I mean, I'm not just trying to drum up business here. We got
Yeah.
plenty of vets call in, but I mean, when there's kind of a a coinciding or a clustering and overlapping, it just adds interesting perspective. You know, so that would be kind of neat.
But he had a good job there at this repo depot, they call it, replacement center, you know. He didn't have to go up to the front. And one day I was up in the front line, and here I saw him up there. So he got transferred up there. But he did not stay too long. He was gone again. He was kind of happy to get back. It was good for him anyway to get out there.
Yeah, yeah. See a little bit of the other side of life. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then from Busan we went north towards the front line, and we stop at Camp Casey. It's a place you do a little more training before you go to the front, you know. And we were out training all night, and then not all night till about 11 o'clock. We lived in a squad tent, and everybody went to sleep, you know. And I strapped my duffel bag to the head of my bed, to the inside. A lot of guys strapped them to the outside, you know, along the outside. In the middle of the night, the natives down there, they came up there with a sharp knife, cut that strap, and took all the duffel bags that were on the outside. And it was kind of funny. The next morning, the guys got up, all they had was the shorts and t-shirt on. We had to laugh at them. And there were guards out there too, but evidently.
Isn't that something?
And the guy, the sergeants, we're gonna go down to the village and get those, you know, but they never found them. They were wherever, very under, I don't know where they were, but they never found them, so they found some clothing there. Some was too big for the guys, and some was small or whatever, but they had to.
Now, a lot of guys would have had personal items in there. And
I'm
such,
sure,
too.
JV kept stuff, that's where I kept all my stuff, put it in there and locked it up or whatever.
Yeah. Wow. Now, and you say it was on the inside or outside of the bunk itself, or of the?
Yeah, the bunk's got a little bar on there, and you
Right.
can strap your duffel bag to that,
Right.
kind of lock it on there.
Mm-hmm.
They had it to the outside wall there, and they reached through the wall, and opened the flap up, reached through the wall, and somehow got them out of there, took
God,
every
yeah.
one of them on the
Yeah.
outside, but I was fortunate to have mine strapped on the inside.
No
but
kidding.
We had to laugh at them a little bit anyway.
I think I would have auctioned my stuff off and made a fortune, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I suppose the guy could have done that.
How long were you there for that added training, do you suppose?
Oh, just a couple days.
Couple
yeah. Wasn't
days.
very long.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then presumably heading back more toward the front again?
Yeah, right. Up to the front line then.
Okay.
Went to the 3rd Division.
Okay.
And they were off they were off the line, you know. You're on the line for about I don't know, a month or two, and then you go back about 10 miles and do more training or whatever. And they were off the line at the time, you know.
The division that you transferred into?
Yeah.
Oh, that was lucky.
Yeah, it was great to be off the line, you know, start out that way.
Yeah, get a little settled in without, yeah, okay, okay.
And then you go before the company commander, and he tells you, we were in the heavy weapons of the infantry. There's the 81 mortar, there's the 105, and there's the 50 caliber machine guns, you know. Well, everybody wants to be in the mortars, they're behind the hill a little bit, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's some guys from Chicago there, and 4 or 5 of them. They wanted to be in the mortars. We said, we know all about the mortars, and they put them in the machine guns. You know? And then we called them a Chicago machine gunner. So.
Oh, like a Chicago Mafia kind
Yeah,
of.
right. That's where they got into.
Wow. So do you think they put them in the machine guns just because they were asking for the mortars?
I really don't know.
Just the way it happened.
Sure it
maybe.
was,
Yeah.
anyway.
Uh-huh. Okay. As far as our overview then, how long in that front line situation roughly, do you suppose?
Totally mean from
Yeah, I mean, how long would you have been there in that front line rotating back and forth
I
position?
think it's a couple of months probably.
Mhm,
6
okay.
weeks, I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's a long time ago. I was supposed to remember all that.
No, just want a general feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What and so like what did you have for breakfast Tuesday morning on February the?
Yeah. Well, they brought chow up there usually. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Now, where to from that assignment, or is that what you did until you were relieved? Of
Yeah, it was in the mortars, all 81 mortars. Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's okay with you, kind of like to go back maybe and kind of fill in some of the,
Okay.
little
Mhm.
details and stuff. After boot camp, you got to go back for like 30 days or so. You had to be a different person in some ways
Yeah.
than the person that left. Do you remember any contrast of having been, halfway across the nation or more, in with, doing things you'd never been asked to do before and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, and then coming back to home? And do you remember, that being
Had
kind
a
of
few
a
things to tell the people back there, when they got back there, from being in California and all that.
But I mean, was it in a way a little culture shock in a way to you to come back home now knowing and having experienced what you had, or not?
Yeah, not really, I guess.
Okay. Okay. And then your parents, they're seeing you off on the bus when you were heading out for the final time to head. Do you recall?
I think my sister took me to the bus, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, so it was out near San Francisco, and I can't remember the place that everybody goes out of or whatever that you mentioned.
Breckenridge, I think they call
Yeah,
it. Breckenridge,
yeah.
or-
And then what about a couple of weeks or so on the boat on the way over?
Oh, the first night out, the first day out, yeah. Oh, man. It's not good. I mean, it was a mess there. I mean, down the stairwell, they threw up and everything. It was terrible, but I couldn't hardly eat nothing. I didn't throw up or nothing, but I mean, you couldn't eat breakfast for a while. Anyway, it was, but after you got out a ways, it wasn't as rough, or else everybody's more used to it.
Well, the swells wouldn't be quite as bad further
Yeah.
out, but also probably you get acclimated to.
Could be, yeah.
You know.
But there was one guy, they said he stayed in the bunk all the way across. They said he was green, but I don't know if he was green or not.
He might have been green, but it might have been an external coating.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
So, how did you guys pass the time on the boat?
Well, let's see. Well, it was on KP quite a bit, which wasn't bad. You get a lot of good food there, you know. And you had access to the food anyway. They got pie and all that stuff there, and they had quite a bit of pretty good food on the boat. I don't know, just walk around, read or whatever. Just not too much to do, I guess.
Yeah. Was there any spirit of apprehension at that point, do you think?
Well, they talked about there are some of these floating mines on the, you wonder if one's been, out from the Second World War yet.
Sure.
Could have hit, and we had a kind of a typhoon there. The boat really did rock there one time. We were out a ways from Japan. They made everybody go down below. You couldn't go out, stay on the deck because it could be washed overboard,
Right.
So it was one day about like that, I guess.
Okay. Did you guys have any assigned? In this case, I guess there wasn't much chance you'd be attacked on the way over or anything.
Evidently not, I guess.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking, certain stations that you were to man if blah and blah, but that was a different probably application in this case. Yeah. Do you remember when you first? Well, okay, when you got off of the boat in Japan, were you shuttled around and had to go here and there and stuff to where you really didn't get much of a chance to realize you were in Japan, or did it really hit you right away?
No, I think it hit us right away,
In what ways? Can you remember anything specific, or?
Well, they keep moving you along, and you go to this barracks and you go to that barracks, and then we got on the bus, and everybody said, that guy's driving on the wrong side of the road. They drive on the left side.
Right.
It would look kind of funny at first.
Had you gone through villages or towns where there were local people carrying on their normal lives, or were you pretty much within military boundaries the whole time?
But yeah, the train did go through some little towns there, They were, they see the guys carrying these bunch of little sticks on their back. They pick them up in the hills for firewood, And the guy along the railroad tracks, he's out there taking the bath right out there, and I don't know if he did it intentionally or what, but anyway. I don't know, taking a bath right outside there, but it was different. It's probably different now. That's a long time ago, 50 years ago.
Sure.
They're pretty modern there now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You mentioned that you went to the southern part of Japan for a chemical and biological and radiological school.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, they were worried about an atomic attack. We're supposed to know what to do in case of atomic attack. You're supposed to get under, I don't know, we had to get something, like concrete was better for, keep the radioactive rays and stuff and different things like that. Chemical and biological warfare too and all that stuff.
Okay, so it was mostly an orientation, how to protect yourself.
Yeah. They sent a certain amount of troops over there, and they would be able to tell the rest of them when you get over to Korea or wherever how to do it and all that stuff,
Okay, all right. What was the mood during that kind of training?
Well, that was probably the best part of the Army life there.
Really?
There was no reveille, no PT or nothing. You just were like a student, Get up in the morning, go to school, study, come back home, wash your clothes or whatever. Nothing to it. It was nice.
Okay.
Then it kept us out of Korea for a couple extra weeks, or 3 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway.
Were people taking it seriously, the schooling and the training and
No,
stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would think
Most
so.
of them were,
I just-
some of them
yeah.
didn't really.
When you got your orders then, and I guess you went by boat to Korea,
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been entering a whole new phase of things.
It was, yeah, there we got, we were issued M1s and all that on the boat already, you know. We got over to Korea, I could see the hills there, and I thought we were gonna be charging up those hills, but it wasn't that way. They were down further, you know, the fighting was on the 38th parallel at this time, you know, at that time anyway, so that's where it was mostly then.
Okay. When you did first arrive in Korea at Pusan,
Busan.
Pusan, yeah. Was that, were there many local people working for the military within the base and things? I mean, were you?
I'm not sure. No, they were around. There's a little fence around there, you know. And they were walking around all around there.
Okay.
In fact, when we had the garbage, after you get through eating, you dump everything in the garbage can as you come out. And there was this old guy scooping that all up, you know, and putting it in a pail and taking it home. I don't know if it's for his
I doubt it was for the pigs.
I don't know what they were
Yeah,
probably
who
eating it,
knows?
but
Yeah.
it really looked kind of, you know, there's coffee grounds and everything else, and everybody scooped it all up, and they had a little pail about that long and carried it with them.
Now, was he allowed to do that? as
Evidently,
such?
they were, I don't know how they got in there, but they did, evidently let them in there.
How long were you there before heading on out?
In Busan,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was very long, maybe a week or 3 days, 4 days, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Not long enough, anyway.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And is that where you ran into Joe? Or not?
Yeah, right.
Or,
Joe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What additional type of training at Camp Casey? Was it just more the idea that now you're in the exact terrain and we'll do the
Yeah,
same
it
thing?
was kind of they call it a night problem. You went out and go out at night and find your way back and whatever with all the instruments and stuff.
Okay. Okay. And then just headed out to the front line to
Yeah, right.
to the 3rd Division. And they had not fallen back, but I mean they were not on the line
Yeah,
at
they were
that time.
backwards.
So during that time there was additional training or
Yeah, they go out in the field every day when you're there too, yeah. That's-
Okay. Keep it fresh and
Yeah. They keep you busy all the time, so you don't have time to worry about where you're at or wherever, maybe, I don't know. But you're busy all the time, even on the line, you're digging trenches or something, you don't lay around very long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they want to probably keep you, very in tune with everything you've been trained
Sure.
with, so it just comes like that, you know. But, were you? How many newcomers came? Were you only to that 3rd Division? In other words, were there?
When I came in there?
Yeah, when you came in.
God, there were quite a few. It was just our company, you know, it isn't the whole division, but anyway, yeah, must have been 6 or 8 of them came in there, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Were they people that you had gone through training and things with, or not?
Some of them, I guess, were, 1 or 2 were.
Okay. But you were pretty much starting all over with making friends, or
Yeah, it seems that way. It doesn't take long. I mean, you're
Yeah.
you're together all the time, and you're just like family. Then you know, and it doesn't take long.
all in the same boat.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Any pranks? Any fun things you recall?
Well,
like that?
yeah, we were behind the line, and we were out digging digging for something. I'm not digging trenches or something. And the guy tells me, I'm kind of new there. He says, "We'll get that shovel. We had a little flare on there. See, a little flare. When you pull the shovel out, the flare goes off. You know."
Oh.
And then everybody hollers grenade, you know, I figured, but I kind of They were all, you know, it's pretty hard to do. Most of them are laughing, so I knew right away it was some trick, you know.
Yeah.
Grenade, and everybody ducks down, but anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
They were trying to scare me a little bit.
I figured there had to be something like that
Oh
type
yeah,
stuff.
they
but
pull stuff.
you know,
That's one I remember on me anyway, but
Yeah.
can't remember the other ones.
How far ahead did you know that you'd be returning to the lines, or that they'd be returning? You would be,
I don't think they ever tell you really. They don't want that word out too much, I suppose.
I suppose, yeah.
Maybe gets a hold of it, I suppose. I don't think so.
Yeah. So just
One day we're
one day you're.
saddle up, we're going back up again, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we usually go to a different different position too. We don't always go to the same one.
Okay. Okay.
You get to a new position and it's kind of a mess there, you know, somebody gotta clean out the bunkers and fix things up and dig some more trenches and all that.
At what point in time, or did you, you know, see wounded and dead, you know?
Well, there are different times, you know. First time.
When
well,
was
there
your first
was a guy
time?
out by our bunker. Nobody knew he was there. It was South Korean. And one day, this guy walked there with a body over there. The guy was laying there, a South Korean guy, but he was laying. He must have been there quite a while. I guess he was kind of dried up already and everything. They took him away.
Okay.
Another time, a buddy of mine and I were going to church, and we had church services every once in a while out there. We saw the hand laying there, guy's hand, and different body parts on the side of the hill that they didn't pick up. Evidently missed some of that. And another time we went up the hill, and it was a new position, and there was a battle there. Evidently, prior to when we got there, and we counted 40 bodies on the other side, Chinese. We're on this side of the hill, and they're on the other side, you know, 40 of them there. And they evidently have to get them out. I mean, the Chinese have to take care of that, I guess, somehow. You don't want to go pick one of those up because they could be booby-trapped or something, you know.
Exactly.
About that.
Exactly. Yes. So was that when it started coming home more to you, do you think? Or, well, I guess what I'm thinking is when you're first heading back out there, and there'd have to be something wrong with a person if they weren't somewhat scared.
Well, that's right.
You know, I mean, seriously, you'd have to
Talk about
be.
the guy being scared when you first get there, but you're scared until you leave there, usually,
Yeah.
you know. Or he's wondering about that shell coming in or something that's got your name on it, they call it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. But, and did it bring it home all the more than I would think when you saw some wounded or
Oh, yeah,
dead
right,
and
yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Now, were you able to keep in contact back home at all? Were letters?
Yeah,
or
we write letters.
boxes or anything?
We
Or?
wrote letters all the
Mhm.
time, you know. And
Okay.
we got letters from them. I always look for the mail, you know. and
Sure.
Kinda good to get letters. from
Did they
home.
keep up with you fairly good, or did you get a
Seems that
slug
way,
of them
yeah.
at once? Or?
They did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Except when I was, I had on New Year's Day, I had appendectomy, you know, ruptured appendix.
Oh my gosh.
I was in the MASH hospital, here MASH hospital.
Yes,
I was in one of
indeed.
those hospitals,
You
MASH
bet.
hospital.
Yeah.
And they sent me a box of candy for Christmas, you know, from home. And then I got it in April because I was in the hospital, you know.
Oh dear.
The guy still ate it though.
I bet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
clean it up.
Oh dear. Wow. Huh. Oh, there's something I was thinking of if I lost my thought there. Oh yeah, you mentioned, you know, some were assigned to the mortars and some to the, what did you wind up being assigned to then?
To the mortars, yes.
You were mortars, yeah, okay. What were your exact duties for
Okay, when you
mortar?
first get there with the mortars, you're ammo bearer. You carry the ammo from the ammo pit to the gun.
Mhm.
Then you get to be, well, first ammo bearer, and then pretty soon you can be gunner. I was a gunner after a while, because the other guys that were gunners, they rotate home, you know, and you gotta keep moving the thing around, you know. Then I went out to the outpost with the radio. I was a radio operator with the forward observer. They go out way in front, and then when they see something they need to be fired at, the mortar fires it there, you know.
Right. Now, is it the forward observer's job then, I would assume, to somehow give coordinates of where they think what it is needs
Yeah,
firing
right.
on
That's
is?
true, yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, they have to call back, and it's kind of complicated to the command headquarters, and whatever, I don't know, I can't remember how it goes again, but you have to have your mortar set in, you know, you set the mortar and you got different points
Right.
to put it, and that fires in a certain spot over there, and he tells, and then when he needs something fired out there, say we got A, B, and C, he'll say maybe 3 points over from A, and that's where they want it fired, so.
Got ya. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind
So it isn't so much that you got to have a GPS built into your head and be
No.
able to tell them it's at blah blah blah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. As you help them hone in the shots.
Yeah, right.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm sure it's different now with all the compute, I mean, they're
Yeah.
way different now, that's like
No doubt.
50-some years ago, I guess, 55. or-
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Close calls?
Oh yeah, my buddy and I were standing next to the gun pit there, where you have your mortar shells, you got sandbags around them so they don't get hit. And a mortar shell went off from the enemy up the hill there, and one piece of shrapnel went about that far, it went between us, right about 3 inches away from me, and that makes quite a whizzing sound. You know, shrapnel is a broken piece of
Oh, yes.
cast iron.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and they can, do great damage.
Tear you up a little bit,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
for sure.
Wow, right in between you.
Yeah.
Guess it didn't have either of your name on it. Maybe it had both and it split the difference. In
Yeah,
any event,
Anyway.
it worked out well.
He got scared. He went into the bunker and stayed there. But I went and dug the thing out of the sandbag and was saved it for a souvenir. Well, I know there's no more coming anyway right now, but and I lost it after a while. I don't know what happened to it anyway. Something.
Well, I've talked to a lot of men that are carrying their souvenir in their body still, so
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true.
probably just as good. Wendy, thoughts that you had to add, that you wanted to ask about?
Just sort of the daily routine, like
Yeah. What was your, if there was such a thing, your average day like?
Well,
Like, say, when you're out on the front line.
you get up and you have breakfast and you dig trenches and you clean the gun, you know, and check all the mortar shells and make sure they're all ready to go. And sometimes they even have you digging some trenches too yet, you know.
How, on a given day, would there be, let's see, firing on your part or being fired upon almost every day?
Yeah, oh yeah, every day we fired some.
That's what I would
Except
think.
at Christmas time, they had a ceasefire, 3-day ceasefire. And then,
Was that honored quite well?
yeah, they did, but they said be sure and watch it, because they might, you know.
Sure.
Well, anyway, we were on the front line at that time, and then they had a microphone out there, amplifying system. They sang Christmas Carol. They played them, I mean. And then this gal was on there and said, "Now, GI," and real plain, like Jane Fonda or whoever it was. I don't know. Anyway, you GIs should be home now. Your wives and girlfriends are having fun. Now, if you just surrender, we'll make sure you get home and all that stuff. We just kind of laughed at that. But
you're
anyway,
right.
you surrender, you're gonna get
Yeah.
trouble. But anyway.
Wasn't there some certain name for her, something or other, Mary or some, I mean.
Yeah, they had, well, remember they had Tokyo Rose. and
Tokyo
then they had-
Rose, you know.
That was in the Second
yeah.
World War. And then
Right, but there was some,
there was
yeah.
something over here. Anyway, it was real, she had a real clear voice. I don't think, there was no foreign accent or anything to it. Anyway. But,
so 3-day ceasefire, and then when did it start back up again? Midnight or something, or?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it was sometime.
But I mean, just like.
We went out off the line after that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
After
Okay.
that went off the line, so I don't know what happened.
How many days would you be under fire usually? Would they be returning fire all the time? Or were you more on the aggressive and them on the defensive, so to speak?
Yeah, there were shells going off all the time, coming in and going out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, so I mean, on any given day, you've got a pretty good chance that something could happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
There was
yeah.
a few shells come in, guys got killed. And
Yep. Yep.
then we're out on the outpost there. That's, well, the forward observer has to go out to the outpost, you know. Way ahead of the line.
Yes, that must be. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about doing that.
Okay, we went out to Outpost Helen. It's like 3/4 mile ahead of the line. Go across this valley.
Okay.
See, we're on one ridge line and they were on the other ridge line.
Okay.
Then the Jeep driver and I and the forward observer went over this ridge line, and they could see us. Then they start putting mortar shells, all of them. I mean, they missed us, but boy,
Yeah.
a lot of mortar shells coming on there. Boy, it was unbelievable. When I got up to Outpost Helen, which is about 3/4 mile ahead of the line. That's all far the Jeep could go, and then they were really shelling us, so we ran out in the field and laid in the tank tracks. The tanks had gone through the rice paddies and they left a depression there. We laid in there for an hour or so until it kind of got a little darker, and then it calmed down and went up to the outpost then. And the command post was there, and the captain was in there, and corporal, and we went in there and we stayed there a while. But then that started caving in. You could see the sand dropping down, you know, here and there. And the captain says, "We got to get out of here. This thing's going to collapse." So we ran down the hill into an underground bunker there, dug out by the Chinese. It was like a little rabbit hole. You felt like a rabbit going into there. It wasn't very deep either. It was, about 3 or 4 feet high. I suppose you couldn't stand up in anything. Went in there. We were pretty safe in there, I guess, for a while.
Did the other thing collapse, do you know? Or?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Yeah.
Didn't go back to look.
No doubt. Yeah. Odelia, anything you've heard him talk about at times or anything or stuff that he hasn't thought to mention or? Rats.
The what?
Barbecued rats. No, rats.
Oh, the rat. Oh, yeah. I was laying on the outpost and kind of half asleep, and this rat, that bugger, they were big. And he was crawling along the side of the bunker there, and I took my bayonet out, but we had poisoned him some. That's why he was kind of slow walking.
Okay.
Rat blood running all down and everything. We got that one anyway.
Were they quite a problem?
There were some around there, yeah. There's always some garbage around and stuff they can hang in there.
Yeah. Anything else that comes to mind, Odelia? Anything you've always wondered but haven't gotten him to tell you, and I can maybe get it out of him for you? No.
We were out in this outpost way out there, and the old sergeant said, "No, anybody leaves this place," he said, "I've got 2 banana clips in the carbine here." That old guy, older fella anyway, he was tough, but he says, "If I can't get you with the first 15, I'll get you with the second 50. Nobody went bugging out. That was kind of a dangerous place to be, really bad.
Yeah.
Well, then he says, I was out pulling guard with him one night, and he says, "They won't hit tonight, it's raining." The second night, and then the third night, they hit up there, But just lucky, I left there. They got a new crew up there, and we left and went back to the mortars, and a half an hour later, the Chinese hit it. And boy, there were a lot of people killed up there. It was kind of bad.
Wow.
The guy that took my place, he was captured, but he got away. And the other fellow was in the bunker where I was in there, and the Chinese combined, they threw mortar shell or hand grenades in there, and it covered them up way up to here, He said they shined the light underneath, that kind of played dead, and he survived and came out.
Really?
It was scary.
That's for sure. That was a narrow miss.
Yeah, it was, and then we got back to where the mortars are and firing. Oh my gosh! Just carried an armful of mortar shells and dropped them in there, and the barrel even got warm, And there was a lot of lights around there. It looked like daylight. Mortar shells exploding.
What have I not thought to ask you about, or any things that stick out in your mind that,
Well, I don't know. Kind of covered it all, I guess. I didn't think of anything right now.
Was it like day and night? Just day and night firing all
Not
the time?
all the time, no. There were some nights it was pretty quiet,
But you didn't know.
couldn't count on it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Then some guys, the riflemen would go out and patrol, They went out in front trying to kind of see where the enemy is. At night, they went out and patrol. And sometimes they encountered the enemy too, and a few of them would get killed.
Was there anything, I think this was probably more Vietnam, where they would purposely come in and slit someone's throat or something and leave the other people alive just to kind of mentally terrorize people?
I never saw that, no. I never saw that around there, no.
Okay.
But they did say, well, first time I went out pulling guard up there, it was raining out, We were back behind the line, And the guy said, no, they sneak up on you with piano wire and they put it around their neck and pull it tight, you know.
Yep.
Kind of worried about that when I was out there because it was darker. And, well, when it's raining, it's dark, you know, you don't see nothing.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if that was true or not, but
Yeah.
that's what he told me.
Make you want to wear a couple of metal posts alongside your neck or
Yeah,
something.
right, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. Wow. When did you finally get to come home?
Well, it was, I think it was in June. In June we left there, I guess, you know.
Okay.
We've been firing all night, and the guy comes in the bunker, and there were 3 or 4 of us left there. We were sleeping. He said, "Oh, you guys are going home." Yeah, but we didn't blame him. He said, "Get out of here, don't bother us," you know. But anyway, it was true. We did go.
Wow.
That was kind of a good feeling to get
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. And where to from there then?
And then we went to Japan, and then back to Seattle.
Okay.
Then I got to Minneapolis at the bus depot, and they announced it over the loudspeaker that the war was over. And that was just after I got home, you know,
Okay.
that they
Okay.
signed the peace treaty or something, you know.
Did you think you were going to make it home?
Well, never knew, that's for sure, yeah. Run into some curious situations sometimes.
Yeah. Must have felt pretty good to be landing in Seattle.
Yeah, right. You land in Seattle and you see those paved streets and the nice cars and the homes and stuff. It's quite a nice country to come
Quite a-
to, that's for
quite a
sure, after
difference.
Japan at that time. Of course, Japan is a lot different now, evidently.
Sure. Right. What about back on the farm? Did they know what day you were coming and at what time or anything? Or?
I suppose I wrote to them I was coming, so I don't recall that part.
What about this time when you returned home? You had to be, sure you're still the same person, but I mean, you had some adjusting to do. You know?
Yeah, it seemed a little different, yeah, that's for sure, yeah.
Any troubles with that?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Nightmares.
Nightmares? Yeah.
Well, a few once in a while used to,
We
yeah.
still had nightmares after we were married. That was going on.
Yeah, it'd be very unusual if you didn't.
Yeah, right, that's true.
Yeah, it's just the more that people are paying attention to it and sensitive to it and learning about it, the more it's very much a reality. So, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jack, for
Yeah,
coming in and
thanks for having me.
telling us. Let me say thank you for the interview
Yeah.
and thank you for your service to your country.
Okay, thank you.
I mean that.